Welcome to the Human Energy series of interviews with the Chevron team. In this edition, we are joined by Ayten Yavuz, General Manager, and Sotiris Meklis, Regional Manager of Chevron Marine Lubricants. Ayten, Sotiris, welcome back, and great to see you both again. Ayten, perhaps we can start with you with this one. You've been leading the marine lubricants business since, I think, January 2024.
Correct.
How well prepared has your career path to date been for this role, and what are your current priorities in post?
So I've been with the company over three decades. And over those 3 decades, I got a lot of opportunities to develop and learn. And the last 15 plus years, it was in marine lubricants. So I got a pretty good insight into the business, the people, the customers, the suppliers. So that has really given me the basics to start in this job about 18 months ago. I'm really focused on developing relationships with both customers, suppliers, but also internally reaching out to Chevron colleagues to see how can we service this business. And I think what we're looking at is over time, how can we help customers with solutions. Shipping is going through a lot of challenges. So that's what I focus on, is those relations, partnerships, but also looking at how from the Chevron side, we can develop solutions that meet their needs today, but also over the longer term. So relations and partnerships are at the key of what we do.
Sotiris, you've also had a long career in energy. How did you get into the sector, and what are your priorities as regional manager?
Thank you, Matt. From a young age, I wanted to get into the energy sector. So a channel for me to get into was to become an engineer. So after graduation, I had an extensive different jobs profiles with different companies as a country manager. And then within Chevron, I've been working for Chevron for the last 11 years. And my current role is regional manager for Europe, Africa, and Middle East. For us as a team, the priority is to be not only the product supplier, but the solution provider to our customer. That means going through the technology, the innovation, the product development, foresee the needs of the industry, discussing with the OEMs. So we are striving and we want to be perceived by our customers as a partner. So for us, the goal is help the customers and be the solution provider.
Ayten, you mentioned the focus on enhancing supply capabilities. Could you share some insights and tell us a little bit more about that, how that works in practice?
Yeah, and again, also Sotiris mentioned about the needs of our customers. So we had a customer who has vessels that have an unpredictable trading pattern. And we weren't able to really supply them in Singapore when they came into port, because we didn't know when they were coming. So we were looking at finding a solution how to supply them products. So at some point we reached out to one of our local agents and we put together our heads and we said, okay, how can we do this? How can we supply the customer reliably, but also safely and compliantly? So we started looking at pump-off solutions from IBCs. So that's where we were able to supply this customer off anchorage. So making sure that at some point the customer would get their product and we would be able to help the customer with those vessels that have somehow an erratic trading pattern. So that was really showing how we partner, not just with the customer, but also with the suppliers, then our internal supply chain folks, our account managers who talk to the customers. So bringing all those experts together at the end to find a solution where the customer is very happy. And now we can use that same solution for customers with similar challenges. And as we said, is finding a solution for their needs.
Mm-hmm. And staying on supply expansion, Sotiris, in the last few months, supply expansion has been a big part of Chevron Marine Lubricants, including, I think, a site at Port Elizabeth in South Africa. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, Matt. The last 10 years, we have seen a shift from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere. One of these locations, and let's not forget that a lot of political turmoils that pushes the whole industry and the whole cargo transportation from the southern hemisphere. One of these locations was Port Elizabeth. So for us, what we needed to give to the customer is the product availability. Identify those locations, so focus on those locations. And Port Elizabeth, it is a location that doesn't cover only the regional part of the vessel movement that goes from the west to the eastern part of the South Africa, but it does cover the global clients as well. So again, Port Elizabeth is a location that shows us that we want to maintain that footprint and have the product availability. And we have seen like those locations, it could be the trend because the bigger vessels, they need to go through the channel to go to the Atlantic Oceans through South Africa. So that's an indication for us that we are striving to give that footprint to the customers so they can get the product on those locations. And let's not forget, some of these locations are not easy, not accessible. So we're trying to bring the know-how through the local network that we do have as well.
And with customers influencing the supply infrastructure in this way, how are you keeping up with those new demands and how does the feedback loop work?
Yeah, so again, partnerships are key. Talking to customers, we do that either through visiting those customers, but also participating in industry events. So recently we were present at North Shipping. Last year we were present at SMM. So those are industry events we participate in. But next to that, we also have what we call seminars, where we bring together the customers and we listen. We listen to their needs. We have some industry experts, so technology experts. So once we do that, we're again putting the best people together to finding those solutions. And we then, it's also a good opportunity for us to update customers on where are we on the digital side. Sotiris mentioned the supply location in Port Elizabeth. I talked about the IBC pump off. We have new products like our HDAX 9700. So we from our side, we also bring to the customers what we are working on. We adapt, we listen, we adapt based on the needs. And that's how we work. So that's how we come to providing those solutions on an ongoing basis, because the world's changing, the industry changing, and we need to adapt in a pretty agile way.
Looking to the future now, we're in a market that is rapidly evolving. We have accelerated interest in things like dual fuel propulsion and obviously a raft of new regulations coming down the tracks. What's Chevron Marine Products doing to prepare for the future and for these changes coming up?
So, as I have mentioned before, we want to be the solution provider to the customers, not only the product supplier. So that means on top of the supply chain network, we are trying to use the digital tools. The digital tools, it's one-stop shop for our customers. And we have gone down now to the mobile, so that means there is a lot of accessibility, what the customers they want to get from us. So the digital tools is one of the high priority. But on top of the digital tools and the supply chain network, we are striving, because at the end of the day, the industry is very competitive, very challenging. We have those big vessels sailing in the water. So in terms of the product, the HDAX 9700 that Ayten was mentioning, this is a four-stroke for the medium type of engines. We have seen one of the best performances in terms of the current fuels like the LNGs, the biofuels, the methanols. And the first tests, it does indicate a good performance as well on the ammonia. So for us, it's an expectation that we might see as well the performance of the product on the ammonia. Going now back again on the two-stroke engines, where they have the Taro Ultra Advanced 40, which is category 2. That's another product which is in high demand. And the industry, we have seen the performance, it's outstanding. So this is what we want to offer to the customer. The tools, the supply, product availability, the network, but then at the same time, the customer to be reassured that when the vessels are sailing, it does perform at the best at this time of the sailing.
Mm-hmm. So Ayten, Sotiris mentioned, I think, quite a key product there, the Taro Ultra Advanced 40. What sets that product apart for two-stroke applications?
Our customer-centric approach where we stay aligned with their needs helps us to understand what are their operational needs, what are their operational challenges, how does the future look like for our customers. And this new product, Tar Ultra Advanced 40, was an answer to those operational challenges. And so Sotiris may give a little bit more insight on the product itself, but again, this is all about how we work and how we operate in this industry. Sotiris?
Yes, Tar Ultra Advanced 40 has been in our portfolio for more than 12 months now. It does meet the cylinder oil requirements of MAN. So for us, Matt, as Ayten mentioned, it's imperative to get those approvals. So at least the vessels that they are under the warranty can sail properly without any implications, having a product with no approvals from the OEMs. Then we have recently from WinGD as well the gas validation, and then we are looking, as I mentioned before, going forward to the future. What are the type of the fuel, like the ammonia? So today we're having a project with WinGD on a new building that we might see the first results within 2026. So overall, our portfolio is to have the right lubricants for those engines, and those engines they keep developing with the OEMs, and they have different type of fuels as well. So for us, we need to understand the compatibility of the lubricant versus the fuel, because the choices and the sailing are quite different in terms of where you're going to get the right fuel. So for us, it is necessary to have the lubricant that meets all these OEM requirements at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these sort of increases in customer expectation and just general, I think, busyness in the industry. Sotiris, perhaps I can stay with you for this one first. How do you balance the demands of your job with your home and family life?
This is a very good question, Matt. Our industry is very challenging. It requires a lot of hours, and it's not because of us. We are not workaholic, but it becomes like an industry 24/7. And as we do know, the global commodities are transported by sea by 90%. So many times we have all these strange calls in terms of products, incidents, and we are trying to solve to be next to the customer as a partner. For me, sometimes I need to switch off. It is necessarily for the family, for the healthiness of the family, and then at the same time be next to my team as well. So I'm trying to do some time management. It's not easy, but we're striving as well. I'm having a supported wife, and at least I'm trying the time that I am with them to be a qualitative time. So I'm trying to switch off with all these gadgets, mobile phones, computers, and then be there. Am I achieving it at the end of the day? Probably yes, some days probably not, but at least it has to be an understanding from both sides that this is the industry, what it is. The ride, it is enjoyable, but then at the end of the day, we have to make that family equilibrium and then a healthy life going forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sotiris, thank you for sharing that. And Ayten, maybe I can pitch you the same question.
Yeah. It's about passion. I have a passion for this business, for this industry, and that helps. Now, as Sotiris mentioned it, right? Sometimes it is tough, it's challenging, and it is 24/7. Ships don't stop sailing. And we're there when we need to be. But we also need to take, I call it me time. So time for me, time for the family. But sometimes it's time for the business. And I think that's okay as long as the balance doesn't go in one direction. And like Sotiris, I have a very supporting husband. So when time comes, we spend quality time together. And it's not the quantity, but it's the quality, whether it's work or family or time for myself. And it's sometimes one gets priority, sometimes the other. And as I said, 3 decades in the company, over 15 years in this business. And I'm still very passionate, as I said at the beginning. So I think I can do a good balance between family and work life. So.
Okay, thank you. And Sotiris, with this in mind, what would you say to somebody looking to enter the maritime energy industry? What advice would you have for them?
I think Ayten has used the word passion. So whatever you do, I think this is the key word. There are many hurdles within our industry, as I mentioned before. If you want to see like those hurdles and pass them and the volatility of our businesses, you got to have that passion. So for me, to the young generation, it is an industry that they are not going to let you become bored. Every day there is a learning lesson. You see, like from the energy sector, the cargo movement, all the way down to the manufacturing. For me, I've been in this business is more than 25 years, and every day it's a learning lesson for me. But to continue learn, you have to have that passion that drives it. So for me, what I can say in one phrase to the young generation, be passionate and follow your dreams. For sure, you're not going to get bored. Enjoy the ride.
Great, thank you. Ayten, yours is, in particular, your story is a great example of working your way through the ranks, as it were. What advice would you have for aspiring leaders in this industry?
Well, I mentioned passion, right? But it's not just that. It's also don't try to be perfect, because you'll fail and you're not going to be happy. But at least go for what you want and learn. Keep learning. I think that's one of the things I learned over those last 30 years is it's always learning. And this is an international business. It's global, it's challenging, but it also gives you the opportunity to meet a lot of people. And that's where I believe, for me, it was, again, the last 15 years, it was really about, I really like being in this business. If you ask me when I was 18, are you going to be in the marine industry business? I probably wouldn't have known. So it's okay not to know when you're young where you want to go to, but as I said, don't try to be perfect. You will make mistakes. Learn from them. And once you go over those mistakes and you learn from those mistakes and keep learning. And that's what I can only say to the next generation is it's an interesting industry. Have passion, but be also true to what you do yourself and how can you contribute.
Thank you. Well, Ayten, Yavuz, Sotiris, Meklis, all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me once again. And this time sharing some more personal stories as well. I really appreciate
Thank you
your
very
candor
much,
and your
Martin.
time.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to be here.